Aloha, my name is Zhoujian Zhang. I'm a third-year graduate student from Institute for Astronomy at University of Hawaii. Today, I'd like to talk about my recent paper accepted for publication by IfA. In this work, we used the Pan-STARRS telescope to search for young brown dwarfs in the Taurus star-forming region. The initial mass function is essential to understand star formation theories. This figure summarizes the model predictions and observations about the IMF slope as a function of stellar masses from brown dwarfs to stars. As we can see, the shape of the IMF in the brown dwarf regime is in particular not well constrained, as there are relatively fewer data points and they have large scatters. Constructing a complete sample of young brown dwarfs in the nearby star-forming regions will help us to determine the low-mass IMF. Recently, the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii has finished its 4-year survey about the 3/4 of the sky in optical wavelengths. The Pan-STARRS 3-pi survey has wide area and high sensitivity. Combined with other digital sky surveys, Pan-STARRS will allow us to perform the largest and deepest multi-wavelength searches of brown dwarfs in the solar neighborhood. In this paper, we focus on the Taurus region. Here, we use blue symbols for previously known Taurus members. In order to select the brown dwarf candidates, we combine photometry and proper motions from Pan-STARRS, WISE, 2MASS, and UKISS, leading to around 300 objects, shown as gold stars in the figure. We then obtain near-infrared spectra of our candidates, from which we further identify young brown dwarfs. Now we have obtained photometry and spectroscopy of our candidates. If we could precisely derive their physical properties like effective temperatures, bolometric luminosities, and masses, then we can construct empirical isochrons and study the low-mass IMF. The bridge between these two categories is to precisely measure two important observables, spectrotype and extinction. One way to compute spectrotype is to visually compare the observed spectra with standards from spectral libraries to find the best match. As another option, quantitative methods are designed based on water band absorption features. These methods work well for few dwarfs with no extinctions. However, if the object is highly reddened, which is typical in dusty star-forming regions, this method will give systematically wrong answers, because the reddening effect alters spectral morphology. This is a well-known degeneracy between spectrotypes and extinctions. In order to break this degeneracy, we quantitatively study the 4 water band spectral features as suggested by Ehlers and Liu in 2013. We noticed that different water band indices behave differently as a function of extinction. Specifically, with increasing extinction, the omega-1 spectral slope becomes shallower, while the other 3 spectral slopes are steeper. Therefore, mathematically combining omega-1 index with the other 3 can create 3 new indices that are insensitive to reddening. These indices can help us to derive reddening-free spectrotypes. Further, we can use them to deredden the object's observed colors to derive their extinctions. Finally, we have developed a new classification system for ultracool dwarfs to derive their spectrotypes, extinctions, and surface gravity classes based on low-resolution near-infrared spectra. In order to show the performance of our method, here I gave example spectra of 3 reddened objects. We apply our classification and derive their spectrotypes and extinctions. A spectral standard with similar spectrotype is also shown as a black curve, which looks totally different from the object due to the reddening effect. However, after we deredden the spectra, look, they are very similar as expected. Here I use the blue histograms to show the spectrotype distribution of previously known brown dwarfs in Taurus. Applying our new classification method, our survey has thus far identified 36 new brown dwarfs in Taurus with very low surface gravities, as indicated by the red histograms. In addition, our discoveries have increased the current substellar census of Taurus by 40%, constituting the largest single increase of brown dwarfs found in Taurus so far. Now we place all Taurus objects on the HR diagram and compare with the average models. As we can see, there are actually 2 populations in Taurus with quite different ages. The younger population, shown as green symbols, have ages of 1 to 10 million years. This is consistent with the commonly adopted young age of Taurus. However, there's another older population with relatively fainter luminosities and thereby older ages of around 10 to 100 million years. This is actually consistent with recent studies of the higher mass stellar members of Taurus, which suggested that there might be a previous star formation episode around 30 million years ago. Therefore, most of our fainter discoveries might indicate the low-mass members of that older population. In addition, the older population appears to have a more bottom-heavy initial mass function, and this could be due to the incompleteness of the older stellar members in Taurus, or these two populations have experienced different star formation processes. Now we examine the spatial distribution of the two populations. For the younger objects, or green symbols, they are mostly located in dusty regions. In comparison, locations of some older objects, or orange symbols, are more dispersed, and this is consistent with their older ages. Our spectroscopy follow-up has been finished for most of our bright candidates. Upon completion, we expect to bring a significant addition to the Taurus IMF and deliver a more comprehensive picture about its star formation history. Please check out our paper for more details. Mahalo for your attention.